Good morning, MacLaren. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. The weather today, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds. We will have near record high temperatures today with a high of 92 degrees Fahrenheit and winds blowing northeasterly at 5 to 10 miles per hour. The sun rose this morning at 6:16 a.m. and will set at 7:49 p.m. On this date, August 18th, in the year 1920, so exactly 100 years ago today, the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, granting the right to vote to all American women. Okay, today I wanted to do something very simple, and that is to share with you some images that I find fascinating. So I will start this slideshow and you will be able to see images from the 1918 pandemic. So here you all are experiencing the 2020 pandemic. And sometimes we think that no one has ever done this before. No one has ever lived through this before. This is unprecedented. It's so strange. And yet we realize that actually we have lived through this. Humanity has lived through pandemics many times before. And this one in 1918 was very well photographed. So there were lots of other pandemics. People just didn't have photography then. But in the 1918 influenza pandemic, people had cameras. And so there are lots of kind of wonderful, fascinating pictures of people wearing masks just like you. And you can see that some of them are wearing masks that look very like they fit well, and some are wearing masks that look kind of just like someone grabbed a handkerchief and tied it around his face. Looks like this man is a street sweeper. Here's a police officer wearing a mask, standing at a sign that says, "Stop, buy Liberty bonds." Liberty bonds were a financial instrument that the federal government was selling to raise money. And here where it gets really interesting. Who are these young women? Well, they are students. And so you begin to see that you are not the only students who have lived through a pandemic and have worn masks in school. It has happened before. So here are these students, they're all wearing their mask. They have the tie around kind. Some of you have that as well. I have one of those as well. And here's where it starts to get even more interesting. So this boy is a student, looks like in Providence, that's the capital of Rhode Island. And he is wearing a coat, wearing a hat, and sitting in what looks like a giant sleeping bag on his chair. And that is because what many people realized was that if you wanted to keep schools going during a pandemic that was transmitted in the air, that the way to do it was to get kids a lot of fresh air. So there was an article that dug up a lot of these photographs, and they showed pictures of a lot of these are school children in New York City in 1918, and you can see that the kids are wearing hats and coats, and they're having lunch. I bet their lunch didn't taste as good as yours, but they're having lunch and the windows are wide open, and it's clearly cold outside. It's wintertime, or at least late fall. But they know that the best way to keep everybody safe is to give them lots of fresh air. Look at these sweet kids having quiet time or nap time. They are wrapped up in blankets, they are wearing woolen winter hats, and they are sleeping on the kind of deck chairs you might find on a cruise ship. So they're taking their nap time, and the windows, you can see again, are wide open to allow all the air to circulate, get them fresh air. These students are doing school outside. Maybe they're doing recess. It looks like they're building a model. And they're wearing some kind of fuzzy hats and fuzzy coats and fuzzy pants. Their whole outfit is fuzzy and woolly and looks very warm. And they are up on the roof of a school building in New York City. So why do I share those with you? Well, I just wanted to remind us all that we are not the first people, certainly not the first Americans, to live through a pandemic in which people realize that the best way to stay safe, keep healthy, is to do things differently, to put on a mask or to go outside, to maybe be a little bit physically uncomfortable because of the weather. Those kids were probably really cold. They were in New York City in the wintertime. And yet they realized, and their teachers realized, and their parents realized, everybody realized that it's better for the kids to be cold or to be wearing kind of a stuffy mask than to just cancel school altogether. So for all of us this year, whether we are realizing, hey, it's better to learn from home, or it's better to wear a mask, or it's better to be a little too hot outside, whatever it is that we are doing differently this year, we are not the first ones to kind of make those sacrifices and those difficult choices in order to keep school going. So I just want to encourage all of us to be tough, to be brave, to be resilient, and to have a great year and keep learning regardless of the funny circumstances. Someday, there will be pictures of all of us doing whatever odd thing we're doing now in order to just keep school going and have a great year. And we will look back on this time with fondness and hopefully good humor. Okay, my friends, if it is your birthday today, August 18th, 2020, happy birthday. I hope you have a day of kindness, friendliness, and peace. My friends, we are all in this together, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.